How would you boil down the Canaanites in a minute or less?
Okay, in a minute or less. I'll go back further than that. I'll go back to Exodus. Okay. Exodus. Abraham. Abraham had Isaac. Isaac had Jacob. Abraham told Isaac, do not marry a Canaanite woman. Isaac told Jacob, who later became named Israel. That's another story. Isaac told Jacob, do not marry a Canaanite woman. The Canaanites were the idolaters, the pagans that lived in where current Israel, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt. That's where they're from. That's where they were from going back 3,500 years ago. Don't marry a Canaanite woman. The Canaanites were idolaters. They worshipped other gods. And I truly wish that I was as well versed in the Bible and the Torah. The Torah, by the way, is not
not the Talmud.
Yeah. No, it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers. It's only the first 5 books of the Bible. If I had read that before I got married, I never would have gotten married the first time, because I married a Lebanese woman.
Oh,
and it was the most nightmare of my life. Lebanon is where Canaan.
Yep. So now, one of the things that I learned in researching the Canaanites is that they were really big on child sacrifice.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
and
dude, I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to stop, but I'm just going to say, dude, I've got shitloads of stuff to say about sacrifice to Molech, sacrifice to Shemesh, sacrifice to Ashtaroth.
Yep.
That still goes on today.
Absolutely, yeah. We're seeing that. I mean, maybe not in the sacrificial way, but like, just.
Oh, yes, it does.
Why do you think the Canaanites used to sacrifice their children? The main reason.
Do you want the actual reason?
No, stand by.
I know the actual reason.
Stand by.
The reasons were usually financial.
Oh.
They thought that God would bless them with riches if they torched their kids.
Wow.
So you might say that they were sacrificing their children to focus on their careers.
You mean, is this kind of like schmortion?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zid, sir.
No, what'd you call me?
Schmorshman?
Douchebagus? What did you call me? Douchebag?
He said, "Good sir."
Maximus Douchebagius.
All right. Okay. They were not sacrificing to the Almighty, to Yahovah, the Creator.
They were sacrificing to Moloch.
They were sacrificing to Moloch. They were sacrificing to Shemesh. And what they would do, if they would sacrifice to either one of those gods, what they would do is they would write out a list of what their wishes would be for the following year, for the following harvest. And specifically, Shemesh or Chemish, however you want to pronounce it, was depicted as, it was a huge brass, I'm guessing it was brass or iron statue of a bull sitting on a chair, and it was hollow underneath. And underneath, they would stoke a bunch of wood and light the wood on fire and make it red hot. And the Chemish statue had 2 hands. I'm holding one hand with my phone. I can't do both, but picture both hands held like this together. And they would put their infants into the hands of this red hot, pot-bellied statue as a sacrifice. And as they sacrificed and burned alive their infants, they would have like all kinds of musicians playing all kinds of instruments to try to drown out the death cries of the infants.
And very similar stuff with Moloch as well. If y'all have not read the Dexter books, and we're going to go away from the Bible for a second, but Jeff Lindsay actually dedicated an entire book to a Moloch worship thing. It's called Dexter in the Dark. And it's it actually scares Dexter's dark passenger into hiding.
Really?
So he's facing this thing virtually alone for the entire book without his usual sharpened senses. It's one of the better books in the series that I've read so far. I'm on book 5 right now.
Okay.
But yeah, this is still stuff that does happen today.
So people would write out a list of what they wished to have for the following year. They would sacrifice their infant children in the hopes of getting that. Kind of like nowadays what people teach our children, and they have been doing it since the Catholic Church came around 2,000 years ago. What's your Christmas wish list? They would write out a Christmas wish list on what they wanted to have. And Blake, I actually sent you a thing about the Wiccan calendar. We can share that later. We don't have to do it now. But all of the holidays that are observed by so-called Christians that were implemented by Catholicism are all Wiccan holidays. The actual commanded holidays of the actual commanded holidays of the Almighty are in Leviticus 23. No, not that one.
That's a good one. I've seen that one.
Stand by. So it's pagan holidays, not just Wiccan.
Yeah, pagan
holidays.
Well, Wiccan comes from pagan.
No, I got you. I'm just saying it was pagan holidays. And one of the main reasons they did that is it was monumentally difficult to get the pagan individuals to veer away from their pagan, festivities on specific dates. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it was basically a compromise to allow Christianity to move forward by adopting dates from the pagan holiday.
Yeah.
And when you compromise your beliefs,
I'm just
lost.
telling you right now.
That's what it was all about.
And
no, I get it, dude. Dude, I'm there. I'm way ahead of you, dude.
But if they did not do that, there would not be Christianity today.
But what they call Christianity is not Christianity. It's a counterfeit.
It's a zombie Jesus fest.
Zombie Jesus fest.
I'm just saying. I used to argue with my grandfather about this when I was like 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, Grandpa, he came back from the dead.
Yep.
He wants people to drink his blood. That's kind of vampire, and eat his flesh. That's zombie behavior.
Yeah.
And he would just go berserk. And I loved it.
Oh, I know. You just love to get his goat. Ironically, this next little graph that I have here kind of fits right in with the calendar that you sent me, Gerry. This is what my pastor calls the judge's vicious cycle. Sin moves to servitude. So sin, Israel slides back into idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
Servitude, most of the time because they're just going along to get along with their neighbors. Oh, we don't need that anymore. That's fine. Then you go to servitude. God's sending other nations to enslave Israel. So when people talk about a just God, well, a just God would never do this. Well, a just God will punish you if you don't follow the rules. Okay, fathers don't let you get away with moida just because you're their kid. We're supposed to whip your ass when you get out of hand.
Correct.
And then we move on to sorrow and supplication. We'll never do it again. Please save us. And then eventually salvation, where God sends a judge to save Israel, or in this case, all of us. Pete wants to know, so who are the Canaanites today? Marxists, modern communists, leftoids, modern women?
Well, hang on.
I think that pretty much goes right along with it.
Yeah. Listen, it's really hard to, put the title Canaanites on the modern population of this world.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Stand by.
Standing by.
Because the population of this world has moved and intermingled and interbred for thousands of years. So it's really hard to do that. I'm just saying. Now, if you want to call Canaanites individuals who are operating outside of the
so I'm talking about the belief system.
No. If you want to call Canaanites people who don't follow the belief system of Christianity, I can get on board with that. But when you try to say certain races, colors, creeds, that's no. I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about the creed of that we're seeing of Marxism is
Oh, yeah.
essentially like right in here, like abolition of the family, sacrifice your children to further your own lives, all this other
Well,
shit. That is
Marxism wants the average person to look at it as a god,
yes,
and it has to destroy anything that could take away that attention span, i.e., other religions,
Yep.
i.e., the family, the father. You have to
Yep.
destroy the father because when a kid's growing up, it's not really the mother that makes corrections in the courses of their children. It's the father who looks down the sight of the kids and goes, you're going 3 degrees to fucked up. So now we're going to move you to, you're going to be okay. And sometimes that entails a couple of these, maybe some of those, grabbing the hair,
or in this case, like, because what I'm seeing is that with this whole vicious cycle thing is that we're on the cusp
of getting the spanking.
Yeah, we're on the cusp of getting the spanking.
Yes.
Basically,
we
are here.
Yeah,
we're in the first category here.
I wholeheartedly agree with
Number
you.
Number 2 is next.
Oh, we're drifting into that. We're already like that with our phones and gadgets.
Yeah, but the World Economic Forum is bound and determined to drag you into this area. And you know what? A lot of it is because we saw this happening, and instead of acting, we said, well, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, that's a fallacy. And then no one spoke up again after that.
And guess what we're doing? You and I, him, Gerry Conway, all the guests we've ever had on the show are literally raising their hand and going, this is fucked up.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. And these people want to also, in order to further the servitude faction of this, they want to manufacture consensus.
Yes.
By painting everybody who doesn't agree with their agenda with a broad brush, fascist, Nazis, etc. On and on down the line.
Yeah. Istophobic.
And people are just stepping back and throwing their hands up because they don't want to get canceled.
It's that whole Darvo method: deny, attack, redirect, victim offender type deal. Just
deflect, deny, deflect. Accuse,
or if you're Kamala, just don't answer any questions.
Listen, man, I am not. Listen, I already am going to have enough to answer for when I go stand before the man. And one of the things he's not going to accuse me of is not saying or doing nothing. I have never been that guy. Never. Even in the face of my own goddamn destruction. I have never been that guy to go, well, let's just play it safe. No, because lives are on the line. You have to step up, take charge, direct people where to go. And there's a price to be paid for that. And I say it all the time on the show. There's no happy ending for heroes.
Amen to that.
Pop, what you said earlier, there's nothing worse for a young child to hear from their mother. Wait till your father gets home.
Yep.
Unless there's no father.
Well, unless there's no father, but actually one of the greatest billboards I ever saw driving down the highway was "Don't make me come down there." Signed, God.
I like that one.
I like that one.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah. See, I grew up without a father, and I'm going to be honest. If I had not gone in the Army, I'd be in prison or dead, or perhaps both.
Yeah, I could say that with a couple things. The high school I went to and the Marine Corps, I probably probably a good idea. I did those two things.
Yes, and the guy who put me in the good line, Sergeant Penn from the Berkeley Police Department, passed away of pancreatic cancer before I could look him in the eye and thank him for what he did for me, because he kept a meticulous file on my ass baggery. And instead of sicking the law on me, he sucked the Army on me.
The law. Yeah, the Army definitely did your dirty on that one. So
I'm sorry, Pop. Who did that? Was that a judge or who was
that?
No,
it was the Sergeant Penn,
the co-op.
He was a police officer in the Berkeley Police Department who ran the juvenile arm of the police department, and he literally kept a folder on me, and he got shit from when I was in Oak Park.
Oh wow!
So I was
he was looking at you close.
I was a habitual dickbag, starting at 6.
And what's changed?
Recidivist.
What's
Was
changed
that
now?
before or after you made that bomb that you threw into that building?
That was way before I made the firecracker wrapped in modeling clay. It was not technically a bomb.
It was a light show.
That is still one of the funniest damn stories I've ever heard.
You were on their radar before that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Hats off to you, man. Hats off to you.
The cops came to my house once a week for years when I was a child in Oak Park.
Your mother must have been so proud.
Oh no, she has
She
gray hair.
Whooped your ass, man.
No, she whipped the shit out of me,
and you deserved it.
And I deserved every one, and I hold no grudges at all.
That's awesome.
I in fact, I went there today, kissed her on the forehead, gave her money because she had no spending money, and it's just a bad frame of mind when you have no money in your pocket.
True story.
So I do that all the time.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Caser box.